It's been more than 2 years since Fallout 4 hit store shelves, and with 6 DLC packs under its belt, the Commonwealth has become home to an abundance of awesome Easter eggs and secrets. Of course, it seems every game has that secret UFO, and we've already found all the silly Pip-Boy classic games, so we decided to dig a bit deeper and search for the more obscure secrets the game has to offer. Here are 11 things you probably didn't know about Fallout 4. According to an old urban legend, if you see a mushroom cloud from an atomic bomb, you should extend your arm and stick your thumb up. If the blast is bigger than your thumb, you're probably within the radiation zone and should evacuate. While this has never been confirmed by Bethesda, the Pip-Boy's outstretched thumb and closed left eye definitely seem to have some darker implications. Our suggestion in the case of a nuclear strike: just run, or jump in a refrigerator, but more on that later. In the Far Harbor DLC for Fallout 4, there's a lake just north of the nucleus. When swimming across the lake, you will see 2 skeletons floating on a board. One of the skeletons is lying on a door, while the other is in the water holding onto the edge. This is a pretty obvious reference to the famous floating scene from James Cameron's Titanic. Although Rose never dies on the board like Jack, so who's the other skeleton supposed to be? Oh, probably Fabricio. It's possible to visit the iconic bar from the TV show Cheers while in the Boston Commonwealth. The bar is called the Prost Bar. Prost, translated from German, means cheers. If you head inside, you'll find many baseball posters and cards, a reference to Sam Malone's baseball background. You'll even find a skeleton wearing a mailman's uniform, an obvious callback to Cliff Clavin, a postman who frequented the bar. And let's not forget the most obvious detail: both Fallout 4 and Cheers both take place in Boston. After gaining CODSWORTH as a companion, you can return to Vault 111. When approaching the cryo bay that holds your dead spouse, CODSWORTH will have a very emotional moment where he expresses his condolences to you.
Oh dear, is that... Mom, I'm so sorry.
When attempting to enter the Covenant, you'll be told you need to take the safe test, which is used to weed out undesirables. Press hard enough, and they'll reveal they're actually talking about synths. Regardless, the test itself is almost a direct copy of the G.O.A.T test.
You are approached by a frenzied scientist who yells, "I'm going to put my quantum harmonizer in your photonic resonation chamber." What's your response?
A frenzied vault scientist runs up to you and yells, "I'm going to put my quantum harmonizer in your photonic resonation chamber." What's your response?
When moving through NUKE World's funhouse, you'll eventually come to a room that has a spinning floor with a few ghouls. You'll notice that there are several doors along the curved walls. One of the white doors will open to a familiar yet chilling scene. You'll see a man and a woman on either side of a crib with a baby mannequin in the crib. It's eerily similar to the opening scene of the game, and honestly, it's extremely creepy to look at. Just north of the Makra fish packing building, you can find 6 hidden bottles, one of which will have a message inside. The bottle's message is titled "Difficult to Kill," and the text reads, "Come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs." This, of course, is a direct reference to the movie Die Hard, where John McClane says the exact same line while crawling through an air vent. Remember when we were talking about nukes and refrigerators? Well, just south of University Point, you'll find a refrigerator amongst some enemies. When approaching the fridge, a voice will call out saying he's been in there since the bombs went off over 200 years ago. This is a fun nod to everyone's favorite Indiana Jones movie, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Yeah, where Indy himself jumps into a lead-lined refrigerator to survive a nuclear blast. Need another Indiana Jones reference? Look no further than Obsidian's Fallout New Vegas, where the exact same Easter egg can be found. This time, Indy's trademark hat is placed on a skeleton also inside a fridge. More Harrison Ford references. On the roof of the mass fusion containment shed, you can find an homage to the final scene of 1982's Blade Runner, where Deckard shares a final moment with the philosophical replicant Roy. Also, if you have access to the NUKE World DLC, head over to Fisttop Mountain. On the roof, you can find a tiny person who appears to be frozen in carbonite, and that should be more than enough Harrison Ford Easter eggs for one video. We'll admit, this one may be a little more known, but it's just too cool not to include. On the northeastern side of NUKE World, you'll find a house in a destroyed town called Bradberton. Upon entering, turn to your right and you'll see a sword sticking out from a pile of ashes, exactly like a bonfire from the popular series Dark Souls. Just like in Dark Souls, where kindling the bonfire refills your health, kindling this fire will cause stim packs to fall from the ceiling. Additionally, removing the sword from the ash will reward you with even more stim packs. Finally, Fallout 4 is a big game with a lot of characters that talk to one another. So it should be no surprise that Fallout 4 has over 111,000 spoken lines of dialogue, 13,000 of which are spoken by the main character themselves. That's more than Fallout 3 and Skyrim combined. That's it for now, but there's a lot more references and Easter eggs to be found in the Commonwealth. So why not tell us some of your favorites in the comments? And while you're at it, why not find out where Fallout 4 stacks up against the other 6 Fallout games by watching our Ranking the 7 Fallout Games video. Be sure to check out some amazing ways to mod the game too. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to IGN.